We don't hear those kinds of conversations, in my estimation, on television anymore. You were way ahead of your time. Why doesn't that happen anymore? Why are we so, I don't know, shall we say, politically correct, if that's the right phrase? Or
I don't know. The fear existed then too, and we fought against the fear because it was, I thought it largely silly. We couldn't win an argument without, it going up a hierarchy of people on the other side of the country. Yeah. And I guess the same thing is happening today. I know a lot of showrunners who tell me All in the Family could not succeed. Well, it couldn't get on to start with.
You don't think it could get on today? Even with the Modern Families and the shows like that?
That's what I love Modern Family. That's what I'm told.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told by the guys who are trying to do it. I am trying to get a show on the air for the last 3-4 years, dealing with, well, not quite your generation, but your dad's generation up through my generation.
It's harder to sell a show now than it was in the 70s, you think?
Well, it's harder to sell a show about an aging demographic.
Right.
Although it's the largest growing demographic in the among the demographics.
And they spend a lot of money.
And they have the most
with the money.
The most expendable income.
Yeah.
But it's still 18 to 39.
Yeah. You stood your ground then. Was it tough? Did you have to say no? Like, we actually talked about the N-word before this show, and I was telling, we have censors, sort of, not censors, but it's standards and practices. And I said, don't sanitize this. That's the whole point of it, is to hear the word, because you could hear it in the 70s. Did you have to go through those battles? I'm sure.
Well, the crazy thing is I didn't go through any battle for the N-word.
Right.
But I went through battles for silly things. I mean, a lot sillier than that. You know, on the very first episode of All in the Family, Archie says 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning because he thinks the kids are going up Mike and Gloria to make love. And they had to have that line out because it was an allusion to something that was taking place upstairs.
Yeah. Let's watch one more clip of All in the Family. We have another one.
His pal Roger is as queer as a $4 bill, and he knows it.
That's not only cruel, Daddy, that's an outright lie.
You know something, Archie? Just because a guy is sensitive and he's an intellectual and he wears glasses, you make him out a queer.
I never said a guy who wears glasses is a queer. A guy who wears glasses is a four eyes. A guy who's a fag is a queer.
That is amazing. So I feel that we should, that's how I would, and I do conduct myself like that in interviews on television, because I think you should be able to say those things. It's the only way you get anything resolved. And then we're dealing with the same issue now. It's a little bit better with same-sex marriage. You're a big proponent of civil liberties. What do you make of what's happened since you did that show and now?
Oh, I think the rest of the culture and every other cause needs to take a lesson. Look how much has been achieved in the last few years.
Do you feel in part responsible for the
No, I can't say I feel responsible for it. I'm happy that I was part of the, every group that enlisted me, or I could think of to be a part of it, and I helped where I could. But I think as a culture we should take a big, deep bow.